And so please describe to me what the aesthetic look is exactly.
More like this guy here.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and bring
Oh wow, you really have to come in here?
like this guy here.
Is this
No,
is this really happening? You met the other guy behind you, bro. Like I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm right into that bad boy.
You can stay right there, behind the camera, behind the camera. No, see now you got me jealous now.
That's okay.
That's not
no,
fair.
but you're more in the category like Luther Richter, Arnold, okay?
My man. Yeah. Arnold Ferrigno. Huh?
Okay.
Aesthetic. That's great, partner. You two ever go out place everything in its proper place?
That does not make sense, but we usually do go. We head to Kroger's, and we work.
Oh, yeah. I've got a lady waiting for me back home also. She has the most beautiful scrotum. Oh, God. And when she sings, she sounds just like a puppy dog. How do you nail a photo?
Just gotta get in the mode. You gotta talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes. You
Okay,
gotta
so
have the eyes
can you show me a little bit of something, like to this camera? I would love to know how to do this. I just want to know.
Well,
How do you do it?
you
Teach
can
me
smile,
something.
You can get the sexy eyes. Then you gotta get the smile going on some shoes, but.
Wait, hold up.
You got.
I gotta
when
try
it's
this
time,
with
when,
you.
it, when it's
Hold
time
on.
to laugh,
I gotta try
you
this
gotta
with
think
you.
of something funny and start
do
laughing.
it again. Do it again. How do you do it? Teach me.
Sexy eyes.
The sexy eye.
This is sexy eyes right here.
Smizing?
Smile.
So you're smizing.
Smile.
Okay.
And then you gotta get the.
No, I look like I need to take a poop or something.
Wish words were like little toy guns. No sting, no hurt, no one, just a bang, bang. Right?
Is that it?
Yeah, it's something like that. Just a bang,
Toy
bang,
guns.
rolling off your tongue.
Toy guns.
It's no smoke, no
Bang, bang.
bullets.
Water guns. All right.
Pascal, you are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis is ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Pascal Show. Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful, wacky, hopefully a good wacky Wednesday. It is Wednesday, y'all. It is hump day. Huge shout out to my sister. It is her birthday today. So happiest of birthdays to my baby sister. Hopefully she is having a wonderful one today. Hopefully she woke up with breakfast in bed with her family, around people that love her, and all that good stuff. Sorry about the late start today, guys. We were having some Skype issues and all that, but we are here ready to rock and roll and talk about a gang of stuff. There's a whole lot of things to talk about today, and we're going to get into it here very, very shortly. But before we do that, my brothers David and Jack are in the house. What the guan, guys?
What up, man? Good to see you. Yeah, I've been battling with this lovely, from having my glasses up here, rubbing in the different spots, and for whatever reason, I got like, I don't know if it's ingrown hair, maybe some adult onset acne that's up here in this corner. It's one of those ones where like now I can't put my glasses on.
Oh, because it hurts so bad?
Like without making it hurt more. And they're just irritating it even further. So I think I'm going to be blind for the next couple of days. So that's fun.
That's real tragic, man. I know that feeling. Not with the glasses thing. I haven't worn glasses in a really long time. I wear contacts all the time. But I do feel you on that. I think that, though, that where you're getting that from is from the mask. I think it's from the mask.
The mask sits right below it. This is right where I have like the old school glasses that have like the little nodule things on the sides that move, and they just sit right here. And I guess the mask was pushing my glasses up because it's in a weird spot. So but those are just the joys and things that we got to deal with along the way of doing things for COVID. And
yes, the slings and arrows of COVID life.
That's right.
The slings and arrows. I can make it Shakespearean. You know what I'm saying? I could try. You know what I'm saying? Make it poetic. The slings and arrows of COVID life. Whither to, whether for. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, David, how you doing, man?
Everything's better here, man. I don't have any blindness, so that's good. I don't even wear glasses anymore. I got surgery for that stuff. I really recommend it. It's much better than glasses.
Oh, I bet.
I have an astigmatism. They say I can't for whatever reason. I don't know if that's changed. But
it has. I have an astigmatism. They did mine.
Oh, sweet.
Maybe they just really wanted the money from David, so they're just like, fine, it's fine. Just come on in. We're gonna LASIK the hell out of you.
We'll see you in 10 years to do it again.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Well, it did take 2 tries, but the second one was free. So.
Oh, nice.
Excuse me?
Oh, that's gotta be terrifying.
I'm sorry. Did you say they tried it? They did it. They had to do it twice, and the second one was for Z?
Yeah, because
oops.
Part of the whatever I signed, like if it doesn't stay at 20/20 or around there, you can go back within like after a year. You can go back and get it done again. Oh. So that's what I did. I waited until it settled, then I went back for another surgery, and it's been perfect since then.
Wow.
So it hasn't degraded again at all, which is good.
That's dope.
Very nice. I had a roommate in college, or not in college, post-college out in California that had eye surgery just like that. And then, they tell him not to rub your eyes, not do any of that kind of stuff. He went to sleep. He woke up in the morning, and he was blind in his right eye. The flap had come loose in the middle of the night from his eyes getting dry and was, like, hanging down.
Yeah.
So we had to rush him back over to the doctor.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I didn't have anything like that happen.
That's just one of those things. I'm like, I'll do it. I guess. like,
yeah, and the second one I had to get a different procedure because of the astigmatism made my cornea thin, and that one I was like, I couldn't really see for like 4 weeks. That was kind of lame, but yeah, I mean, like I could see people and things. I just couldn't like look at a screen or anything. So I was just like listening to audiobooks and talking to people for like 4 weeks straight and doing nothing else.
It's probably like one of the best, most relaxing times of your life.
It's true. It was less stressful.
Yeah.
These are the reasons why I'm not cool with like doing anything with my eyes like that. Like I wear contacts, and even right now, for all you people that wear contacts, you're gonna understand what I'm talking about here. You put the contacts in, and all of a sudden everything's still kind of blurry or foggy. You know what I'm saying? That annoying piece where you're just sitting there, you're constantly rubbing your eyes, you're constantly like trying to, you're trying to read text, that kind of thing. I'm having that issue. I've been having that issue for the past like 2 days. And I'm sitting there, cleaning out the contacts and all that, making sure, or switching them out and all that. But for some weird reason, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's my hand, my fingers were greasy before I put them in or something like that. I don't know what it is, but it's so annoying. But I'll take that over waking up and half of my eye like falling out of my head. I'm sorry, or not being able to see for 4 weeks. No big deal. Most relaxing. No. Stuff is scary. That's scary. You're doing something with my eyes. These are important. You know what I'm saying? These are impotent. All right? Not important. Impotent. I need these. So that's one thing I get very scared of doing. That LASIK stuff. I'm sorry. You couldn't pay me to do it. I'd have to see. I hear more horror stories than I actually hear success stories. Like, for example, David, you just said, oh, I did it first time. I woke up one day, couldn't see a damn thing. So I went back and got it for free. Like, that doesn't mean a damn thing, yo. That doesn't mean anything, in my personal opinion. That still means you went blind in one eye or whatever. You had issues when they went and poked around in your eyes. And these are important.
It was still better than it was before the glasses, though. When they did when I went in, it was my vision was pretty abysmal, and even after the first surgery, it only dropped like 3 or 4 points or whatever. So like it wasn't bad, but it wasn't crystal clear like I wanted since I paid all that damn money. So I went back for the second treatment. Most people would have probably been fine. I was just kind of annoyed that I paid that much and it wasn't perfect, but it's been perfect since the second treatment.
Damn. Well,
but I feel you.
I'm just saying, you feel me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry. These are really important. And I'm not some amazingly talented piano player where I can just go get a gig, doing some Stevie Wonder or something like that, and play blindfolded or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are important. I could not do what I'm doing right now, or any of y'all could be doing what you're doing right now without, I'm sure you could. I'm not sitting here saying that blind people can't do things. I'm just saying, like, just regular things in life would just be stripped away from you, all because of a LASIK thing. I guess that's the reason why I've never wanted to do it. It's a scary thought, and I've heard more horror stories than I've actually heard, success stories. Yours is sort of, David. Yours is sort of a success story, and sort of not at the same damn time. You see.
First you don't succeed, try again. I didn't know that was my eye surgeon's motto.
Right?
Nice. Well, my sister had done it first, so that was a big thing in making me comfortable to do it.
Yeah. It's funny because that eye surgeon is going, well, you only got to get it right once. Really, if you really think about it, there's 2 of them. You only got to get it right once, y'all.
It's true.
Just once, and that's it.
Just to make it seem worse, you can smell your eye burning while the laser is cutting into it. It doesn't smell good.
Hamburger, no thank you. See what I'm saying? Nah, man. Nah, I ain't about that life. Hell to the no. No. I'm not about that life. I'm sorry. No. Tammy from the block just said something. Don't they say 40% of eye surgeries have to be done twice? Oh, my God. Tammy from the block, do not stop dropping knowledge and truths on the streets right now. Tammy, don't do that to me. Damn. See, that's the reason why I won't do it. Maybe when I'm much older, You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, well, I've seen everything I've ever needed to see. You know what I'm saying? So if I go blind, who cares? You know, I don't know why I would sound like that, but
Like
you see what I'm saying?
Voice. Yeah, just start with one eye.
Arg me,
Yeah.
matey.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, and I just have a monocle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the other one, looking like the planner's, peanut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why not? Why not? But that's the thing. You know, eye surgeons can. You you only got to get it right once. You know, I feel like plastic surgeons can say the same thing about breast implants. You only got to get it right once. I mean, you can have one good solid boob if you really think about it. It'll still do the job. It'll still do the job if you really think about it. Just get it right once. You're good to go.
Then you have an organic boob if you ever have a kid, so you can keep it healthy and well fed.
Yeah, just sit there. You know, it's properly plump and ready to be what is it? Harvested? Why are we talking about it like that? That's just weird. Okay. Oh, God forgive me and all that. I'm sorry. We had to talk about something stupid real quick because there's so much serious stuff. So many serious things going on right now. There's a bunch of things that we need to talk about, like, there's Portland police have been literally moved out of an area, which we are going to be talking about here very, very shortly by protesters because of these police officers are trying to evict people from their homes. We're going to talk about that here very shortly. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of stuff to talk about in regards to this black man that was shot and killed for holding a Subway sandwich. Yes, that is a true story. And there's a gang of other things, like Olivia Jade was just on Red Table Talk. And there's a bunch of conversations that we have to have. But before we jump into all of that, we have got to go into the COVID vaccine watch, because, of course, we are still watching that every single day. We got to talk about that very, very quickly and tap in on that situation. People have been getting the vaccine in the UK, for the Pfizer vaccine, but there's other pieces of information that are going on surrounding the Moderna vaccine and Pfizer vaccine. David's got the story, so I'm going to throw it over to him. What's going on, man?
All right, so there's a lot going on with the vaccine, like you just said.
Yeah.
We have both a story focused on the U.S. and the U.K. For the U.S. in particular, I'll start with that one. The FDA has, they've released the document as well if you guys want to go and see it, but they released their approval for the Pfizer vaccine, saying it has no dangerous or significant side effects in general, and that it's safe to use. And so that's been approved. Part of the FDA's approval of the vaccine is that we have to do our own trials as well, instead of just relying on the Pfizer's. And so the FDA did do their round of testing, and they had some problems with it. Let's see, let me get the numbers exactly here. The FDA was having the testing both vaccinations, both the Pfizer and the Moderna, but most of this information is from the Pfizer. So the Moderna one is still in earlier testing, though it's having the same basic interactions and effects. So Pfizer has been granted their EUA, and after the FDA did their approvals, and some of the people who were part of the trial in the FDA reported having severe headaches and fatigue that bothered them for a day or two. Some of them were unable to work because of that or move, and others had even more severe reactions. There's a lot of people with severe pain reactions. One individual describes that he woke up with chills, shaking so hard he cracked one of his teeth. Jeez. And he said that it hurt just to lay in his bedsheet. So, even his bedsheet was painful to him, and that's that kind of painful sensitivity is to a less what we're seeing in other people. That is one of the more extreme cases, but it is a variation of what we're seeing in a lot of people. And someone else reported that let me get it to right. What's his name? Let me get his name. Yasir Batalvi. was one of the trial participants, and he originally went in. He had read the Moderna's 22-page form on the vaccine, so he kind of knew what he was going in for. But he said, with the first shot, his words, I experienced stiffness and pain in my left arm where I had gotten the shot, but it was mild. By that evening, I didn't want to move my arm above my shoulder, but it was localized. And it disappeared the next day. And then the second shot is where he had more issues, which is normal. This is what we're seeing in a lot of people. The second shot is much worse than the first. He says that after injection, I had the same side effect as the first, localized pain and stiffness, but it was a bit worse. My arm got sore faster, and by the time I got home, I started feeling fatigue like anyone would feel if they were coming down with the flu. And then that evening, I developed a low-grade fever and had chills, and that evening was very rough. After a restless night, he had to call the doctors, who told him it was a normal reaction and that he just had to endure it. And he said that he's not concerned about any long-term effects despite that original rough treatment. And so what else? With this vaccine, still in the U.S., Trump decided not to buy the second set of vaccines, at least for now, which there is an option for. Though, of course, Biden will be in office before the Operation Warp Speed money and plan runs out, so he can always buy more doses if he decides to. But right now, we have enough to treat 50 million Americans, and that's all we have paid for so far. Biden would have to find more money to pay for any more dose treatments. So after the first 50 million treatments, there might start being a cost, especially because Pfizer retains the right to increase the price at any point. We have no control over that. If Moderna increases the price, we have it was either a hike-in or a step-in clause, which allows us to maintain the current price on that one. Also, part of the issue with the testing from Pfizer and Moderna is that they both did double-blind tests. So even though they had 30,000 tests, only 15,000 people actually got the vaccine. So that's why we're seeing a little bit of these different numbers than what they might have originally suggested. And what else did we get? With the U.S. testing, 64 people, which was a decent amount. That was around 3% had a swelling. No, sorry, that was 5%. Had swelling of the lymph nodes in the throat, and others experienced extreme exhaustion. And let's see. And in American studies, we also had a considerable amount of, let me get this name right on the illness. I think it's Bell's palsy. Yeah, Bell's palsy. So 4% of people experienced Bell's palsy, which is a temporary paralysis of the face. So that's another issue that's coming up. It was gone after about 2 days, so the paralysis only lasts for 2 days.
Great.
Yeah, great. All right, so that's the U.S. effects. The U.S. also approved it, said didn't have any major reactions to allergies, though, of course, we had a fairly small testing sample of about 5,000 people, mostly white, young, healthy people for the most part. Let's see, I think it was, so slightly under disproportion for other races besides whites, it looks like. I would have to do the exact math, but there is a white overrepresentation and an even larger overrepresentation of healthy middle-aged people, or not middle-aged, but healthy people in their 20s and 30s, with a very minor percentage of people over their 80s. I think it was around 10% of the people tested were over their 80s. Mm-hmm. And, okay, so now to turn to the UK's problem. So we already know from Pfizer's original test that around 0.685% of people, that's 0.685% of people who took the vaccine suffered from anaphylactoid reactions. Mm-hmm. And so that is a form of onset anaphylaxis that can lead to shock, and it can lead to death. But the cases, thankfully, the cases that we had in the UK did not end in that. 2 of the people in the very first initial wave of 2 nurses or doctors, healthcare workers at a hospital, had extreme reactions to the vaccine because of previous allergies, and this is expected. So if you have allergies in the past, you may have severe reactions, and there's a possibility of going into anaphylactic shock. It's again 0.68%. You're more likely to go into anaphylactic shock from the vaccine than you are to actually die from COVID. So that is one thing to consider if you have intense allergies. They are now screening people for allergies and trying to keep them from even taking the vaccine. So right now in the UK, you can't take vaccines if you have bad allergies.
See, and that's something that hold on really quick. And I think that's something that's very important to point out, that if you have really bad severe, like if you have bad allergies, there's a possibility that you can't take this vaccine. Actually, in a way, that's probably a blessing if you really think about it. But the thing is that why would they administer a vaccine that is, and I know that you have a whole lot more to say, but I don't mean to jump in on you like this, but I'm just going to say it. Why would they administer a vaccine that has all these problems? Think about all these problems you just said. You just said a bunch of stuff. You know, people are getting Bell's palsy. If you have severe allergies, don't take this vaccine. I mean, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like the whole thing of like when you see these commercials that you see where they're talking about taking, take Zoloft. Oh, but here's all the laundry list of side effects. Near the end of it, they show the people happy as all get out. You know what I'm saying? They're playing tennis. They're drinking their martinis, having the greatest time, all because of Zoloft. Thanks, Zoloft. But please don't. And then the end of the commercial, right? It's kind of like that right now, where they're going, oh, don't do this, don't do it. It might make you shiver so hard. It cracks your teeth. If you have really bad allergies, don't take it. If you have this, and this, don't. You know what I'm saying? It's like now there's all these new red flags that keep popping up, which is exactly what I was saying. You know, I know you got more to say, but I just wanted to put that out on the table real quick. Like, holy cow. And we've only talked about like you talked about things that were going on in the US, right, David, in the very beginning. And the funny thing is that it hasn't even been administered in America yet. And now we're getting all this information, that is starting to come out. In the UK, they're already hearing stories like this. This is terrifying. This is insane. And they want us to take this. They want us to take this, knowing that there could be side effects like this. Temporary paralysis of the face? Seriously?
Crack your tooth from pain? From your sheets being too painful?
Your sheets being too painful, y'all. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in, but I'm just like, holy cow, hold up. This is sensory overload. I guess that's what you get when you take this vaccine too. But holy cow. You can continue. I'm just reacting to this kind of like, bruh. And people want to stand in line to take this ish? You sure? You can continue, David. I'm sorry.
All right.
Just had to react.
Some more bad reactions.
But wait, there's more.
Moderna, during their FDA trials, they haven't gotten their full EUA yet. Had to stop testing the full amount of the vaccine, so they had to reduce the overall dose because the adverse reactions from the full dosage was too severe for too many people, so it became unviable, and they had to reduce the dosage to make it viable for treatments. And they expect that any other adverse reactions should show up within the first few months. So 2 to 3 months after this trial, we should start seeing any of the full reactions. Though it's going to be approved before then, of course. But they expect that by the 3rd month, we should see the rest of the effects of the vaccine.
Say that again one more time. Say that last sentence one mother-loving time, please.
So the vaccine is going to be approved about 3 months before we have seen the full side effects of the vaccine, full expected by the doctors who are administering the test.
Right. And then, no, you said something else right after that. You just said something along the lines of, so we're still going to have to wait and hear about other side effects. We're going to have to wait out and see what else is going on out here. And people are wanting to run towards the front door to get this vaccine.
Yes, the doctors doing the study for the FDA expect 3 months before we get the full list of immediate side effects, adverse reactions to the shot, not long-term effects, just adverse reactions to the shot.
Have mercy.
Okay, what else do we got here? The UK now. Okay, that's it for the US. That's just all from our own FDA studying with our own doctors. Most of what we mentioned before was just for Moderna's testing. So this is the first testing done by our own country. The UK didn't get a full testing done with Pfizer. That's why Fauci was criticizing them. And so I'm going to mostly just read this from the UK. Okay.
Go for it.
UK regulators have issued a warning that people who have a history of significant allergic reactions should not currently receive the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine after 2 NHS staff members who had the jab suffered allergic reactions. The workers were given the shots on Tuesday, the first day of the NHS mass vaccination program, and suffered an allergic reaction. NHS in England said all trusts involved with the vaccination program had been informed. The Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, MHRA, that's the British FDA, that's the British FDA, is the MHRA, has given precautionary advice to NHS Trust, and NHS is their public healthcare system, trust that anyone who has a history of significant allergic reactions to medicine, food, or vaccines should not receive the vaccine. So he goes on to say, Professor Stephen Powis, the National Medical Advisor for the NHS in England, says that, as is common with the new vaccines, the MHRA have advised on a precautionary basis that people with these reactions do not receive the vaccination after 2 people have had these allergic reactions responded adversely. Both are now recovering well. They did have significant history of allergic reactions in the past, and they were administered shots and other treatments that were able to bring them back to normal. So basically, they went under treatment for full anaphylactic shock, and then they returned to normal after that. And right, so that's the main thing there, because right now they're going under tier 3 restrictions, which are they're not a full lockdown. They're getting closer. I don't have a full list of the specifics, but basically, Britain is trying to get out of this lockdown right now. I mean, these are just numbers for the UK. 2 million have fallen below poverty since the lockdowns. In America, 2 million elderly have died alone since COVID. Overall, the lockdowns are having an effect, which is why a lot of these countries are pushing the vaccines very quickly.
Yeah.
6 million have entered starvation since then. 10,000 children are starving to death every month. So really only these wealthier countries can even afford it at this point, and all of the third world countries that the first world countries depend on are starting to starve and have a lot of problems. Overall, 12 million have entered poverty, severe poverty. 600 million have entered poverty, and 200 to 400 million more are suffering from severe malnutrition now. And in first world countries, we've gone from 4% of people with suicidal ideation to 11%. So the lockdowns are taking a huge toll. So you see, this is part of why the UK is pushing the vaccination very early, not to mention the amount of deaths they have had. So that's why I think they're pushing it very quickly, despite the severe and relatively speaking, large percentage of negative reactions, especially compared to other vaccines.
Oh boy!
And we still don't know the long-term vaccinations in terms of the FDA, the 3 months that we still need to wait for the FDA to upload all the information in VAERS so that we do know how it affects specifically the American population en masse. Even though we're only going to have, about 10 to 20% of people will be vaccinated with the first round of 50 million treatments.
Mm-hmm. I mean, of course, we've talked about this vaccination thing, the vaccine, like over and over and over again. I mean, obviously, we're going to find out more and more information as time goes on. I personally think that there's not enough evidence out there, there's a lot of evidence out there. There isn't enough time to fully get something that is helpful, that won't cause severe side effects like the things that he has listed. I mean, there's a laundry list of things that he's listed already. They're already administering this in the UK. Obviously, we're going to be watching as things go on. They just started to, administer the vaccine yesterday. People are starting to go in droves to get this vaccine in the UK, and I get it. I fully get it. Life needs to keep moving. We need a way for us to go back to work and all that. But these side effects are terrifying. What's being described is terrifying. Then it's a vaccine that not everyone can take. If you really think about it, if you have severe allergies, they're going, in second thought, maybe you don't want to take this. If you have severe allergies, it might be a bad idea to do this. We don't recommend doing that. That's real. And the funny thing is that anybody with the flu or like goes and takes the flu, anybody can go get the flu shot. Anyone. They're not sitting there going, oh, wait. Before you do you have any of these pre-existing problems? Anyone can go up and get a flu shot. Now they're saying, oh, there's this one thing. What if you have allergies, but they're not severe? What constitutes as severe? You know what I'm saying? Inquiring minds would like to know. What is it? What allergy is it? Like somebody who's allergic to pollen, somebody who's allergic to cats, somebody who's allergic to dogs. What is it? Allergic to peanuts? With the monocle. See, I brought it back. What do you do?
Any of those would do it.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, they say severe allergies. What does that entail? That can mean anything. That could be anything. That could just be, you wake up one day with a really runny nose because, the mold outside has gone up or something. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like they always sit there and say, the news all of a sudden they always sit there and go, pollen is up today, or there's this the mold or the trees that grow in your area, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It could be anything. So what does that entail? And the fact that they're going, oh, we're about to give this to the world. Wait a second, though. All those people who have allergies don't take this. Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, sheets are painful to people who take this. People are shivering so bad that they crack their teeth. And on and on and on. Like, I swear to God, I feel like they need to get the guy from Micro Machines and list off all the side effects at the end of every single commercial. So you can hear every single thing before you decide to take this vaccine. And that's the thing that's out. That's getting approved by the FDA. And you're willing to put this in your bodies, y'all? Really? I'll tell you what, I think not. I think not. How about people who don't know if they have... How about the people who think they don't have allergies, but they actually do? There are people out there. There are plenty of people out there that don't know, like, oh, I'm just having a bad cold. Or for some odd reason, I'm stuffy. But they don't know, maybe it's allergies. Then they go and take this vaccine. Boom. In the arms of an angel. Like what? Dead? Him dead? I'm sorry. It's too many red flags. And the fact that they're already... All of our brothers and sisters in Great Britain are already starting to take this ish. And these are the problems that they're facing. Man, it's just terrifying to me, guys. Jack, you haven't gotten a chance to say really anything. So what are your thoughts on this, man?
I mean, it's, I don't know. It's definitely, what it was Fauci that said that, it's the alternative. That is, if you get sick with COVID, and the worst case scenario for COVID is death. So, and then there's even, and the not worst case for COVID, besides, situations where people are asymptomatic or only have slight symptoms, are still pretty bad, with breathing issues and things that could possibly be long-term effects. But, obviously it's, hearing any of these things where someone has a shiver so bad that they crack their teeth, their entire body becomes sensitive stuff. But all that stuff was gone within 12 hours. That's what that guy said. Okay, so, it's sure. If your body needs to acclimate to it for 12 hours, and then you can be safe from having the worst case scenario from COVID. That's the balance, right? I mean, they wouldn't push it forward to be approved without weighing out those options. Now,
but it's
I am not saying that I'm going to go line up for that first dose line. I mean, first off, we can't. There's not even enough doses around to people to start lining up to try to do that. And it's they're already called for, and so we'll see what happens after these big rounds of people. We were worried about 30,000 people testing and getting these results. Let's see what happens with 50 million. People have that going on, and let's find out. And either are already the ICUs in California and two different San Joaquin areas, they said, are completely full. They have 0% capacity, and multiple other hospitals around the area are starting to fill up and are below 10%. So it's a ventilator versus being at home and having some issues for a little bit. Versus something that could cause you to go and have lifelong issues. But again, we don't know what the long-term effects of stuff are, and how effective these are, and whether or not they have to be going back and doing this every year. There's just so many different unknowns that I feel like that maybe other people know more about than what we do. But there's so much data and things to try to analyze and come up with, what's the right thing to do. I don't know. I don't want to die. I know that. But,
Facts.
I also don't want to lose my eyesight, or and that's trying to be preventative.
Have full body convulsions for 12 hours. Yeah. Bed sheets are painful. Yeah. Just so that you can be okay from the vid. I just for me, I just don't see the positive side of this. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're making it seem, but not you. You rhetorically speaking, you are making it seem like taking the vaccine is less painful than going through the COVID. It sounds it's more painful to take the vaccine than to go through COVID. It seems like. You know what I'm saying? You're still feeling
what is happening to people with COVID.
No, not entirely true. Because if you really think about it, listen, hear me out. Because you got people, I don't want to get this twisted. I'm not knocking anybody who's going through it or who wants to go take the vaccine. By all means, go do what you need to do. What I'm trying to say here is that you're still going through serious pain, terrible experiences just to be vaccinated. And the whole point of being vaccinated is so that you don't have to go through the pain of that situation. Just like when you take a flu vaccine, you take the flu vaccine so you don't feel like crap if you were to have the flu. You get it to avoid the pain. You're taking this vaccine and all of a sudden you're shattering your own teeth because your body's convulsing so much. Bruh, that's insane. The whole point of taking the vaccine
to avoid death. You don't get the flu vaccine to avoid the pain.
It's to avoid pain, and it's to avoid death, of course, too. All the bad things about the COVID, absolutely. But if you really think about it, the whole purpose of us taking the vaccine is to not have to deal with any of that. It's to stop us from that.
The vaccine is created because of the actual amount of deaths that's associated with the virus. And they're saying we need something to stop the amount of deaths. It's not like you can go ahead and have a cold or a fever. You can battle that. You don't need a vaccine for that. But you need a vaccine to stop something that's going to just completely destroy your body. And that's that's why they create the vaccines. There's only vaccines for certain things. It's because there was such a high death rate associated with them. We're taking the vaccines to avoid death.
Right, but if you look at the vaccines that we have taken in our pasts,
yeah,
we haven't had one that has had this kind of side effect.
Usually they all have. 100%.
I'm sure when they first administer them, the first time of the flu or something like that, polio, whatever, I'm sure when they first administered those things, sure. But technology, science has advanced tremendously since then. The fact that, look, here it is. I don't know how long it took them to figure out a vaccine for polio or a vaccine for the flu, but Look how quickly we were able to make a vaccine for COVID, which is an amazing thing. I'm not knocking the fact that it's been made. What I'm saying, though, is that you see the advancement of technology, the advancement of science, the advancement of vaccines, so much that when you do get a malaria shot, you're not having symptoms like a vaccine. I'm sorry, malaria vaccine. It's not like you're experiencing what it's like to be at the brink of death just to get that malaria shot, or measles, mumps, flu, polio, you name it. All those, I can list all these other vaccines that are out here. When you look at those things, you can't sit here and say that all, like, when we were kids, we were just feeling like we were going to die because we took these vaccines. These vaccines have been obviously tailored and fixed and picked and prodded and all that stuff, so much that we don't have those kind of side effects. The worst kind of side effect that we have right now from the flu shot is that you feel a little flu-y, like those flu symptoms, a tiny bit, but nothing like you're shattering your teeth. Bed sheets feel painful. You name it. The laundry list that he just gave. So all I'm saying is that, hey, I'm all for a vaccine. I am all for it, but I'm for a vaccine that doesn't have these kind of side effects. I'm sorry. I'm not about to put something in my body that I'm going to feel that kind of pain for 12 hours straight. That's insane. Personally, that's insane. I understand I understand that's, I just totally lost my train of thought because the whole thing just flickered.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that was weird. Sorry, guys. But I'm totally fine for a vaccine if there weren't side effects like that. I'm sorry for repeating myself, but that part is insane. That is insane. I get it that it's like, okay, that's 12 hours in comparison to 2 weeks of feeling like death, but that's still 12 hours of those kind of side effects? The possibility of those kind of side effects? I'm taking a vaccine so I don't have to go through that pain. So I don't have to feel what people, the unfortunate people that have gotten the COVID, like, so I don't have to feel those kind of feelings as well. So to me, that does not seem like a very sexy proposition. I want to wait. I would want to sit back and wait till they go, okay, we fixed things. We tweaked it. No one's going to feel like they're at the brink of death for half a day. You know what I'm saying? Or for 12 hours. That's insane. That's terrible.
So flu vaccine, normal things are soreness, redness, and swelling from the shot, headache, fever, nausea, and muscle aches. And they say occasionally causes fainting. And all those symptoms that I just read can last for a few days. There's a small association of people getting the injectable flu vaccine with the Guillain-Barré syndrome, which I think is like that's a sensory touch thing on your body, where everything becomes very like just like the pain from the bed sheets type of stuff. But there's also there's a lot of allergic reactions from the flu shot, where you get difficulty breathing, hoarseness or wheezing, swelling around your eyes and lips, hives, paleness, weakness, a fast heartbeat, and dizziness. And then it says that there are life-threatening allergic reactions to the flu shot, but you figure that out in the first few minutes or few hours of the vaccine. So, I think that it's one of those things that because of how fast it's come put together, people are very wary about it. But I think that just like all of the other vaccines, we really can't compare it to it because it's a different style of vaccine. We're not, mutating the virus and injecting it so that it can fight off the stuff. We're injecting mRNA into your body with a different sequence code to be able to fight off, a strand of the vaccine or of COVID and a portion of it so it doesn't replicate. So, it's a completely different thing. That's what worries me more, is that it's not comparable really to all the other vaccines because it's a different new type of vaccine. And that's where there's all these unknowns for. And so side effects, I think, happen with all vaccines. And and each person is obviously going to have their body react to it differently.
Right.
I would think it would make more sense if people get COVID, if they're in the hospital, they get put in the hospital, then they get the vaccine. If it can work in that conjunction, like, okay, here you're admitted, here's the vaccine, you're not going to die. But I don't know, like, we're assuming that it's a preventative, but we still don't know if it's going to stop the spread. So it's not like a vaccine that stops you from spreading it. You can still be a carrier, as of right now, of what they say. And so I don't know. I understand your qualms. It's but don't get it twisted with like comparing it to other vaccines. I don't think like that's because we're in new territory. But at least they came up with something, right? At least they're not sitting there going like, we have no idea how to fight this.
Right. I mean, and that's on a positive side of it all. That's the positive side of it, is that, okay, there is a vaccine. It's out here, or there's 3 different companies that have come up with a vaccine. Other countries have come up with their own vaccines as well. So, I mean, and that's obviously a positive thing as well. But I look at it at what David has said to us, all that information. And to me, it as I've said before, it gives me great pause. It gives me great pause. Yes, there are things as far as like what you just listed about the flu shot, taking the flu vaccine and everything, that there's those type of side effects and everything. True, there are. But you never hear anything like what we've just listed, like what David just listed as far as like side effects. Like really bad side effects like that. That's, like I said, I would love for them, like I want or would love for them to have a little bit more time to tailor it possibly. Tailor it properly. That's what I'd like to have happen, rather than it just being something that's just, here we go, bang, 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 bang. You know what I mean? And just sped up so quickly. But anyway, we got to go into a quick commercial break, guys. But when we come back, we're going to be talking about the Portland police and the clash with the protesters out there. We'll be right back. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.
For the holidays, don't cancel them. Prepare STL. Decorate. Make it as normal as you can, but slow the spread of COVID. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. Watch your distance. Prepare STL, helping St. Louisans of color prepare and prevail.
But you see how he makes these S's in his body right here? That's where he's hanging on, and then he's moving forward with the locomotion of his ribs. That is classic Missouri rat snake right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab him before he gets into a hole. Now, these snakes are not biters. They won't bite as long as you don't squeeze them. If you just stop them like this, it'll freeze them, and then you just gently pull them back. As long as you don't squeeze them, they won't bite.
Yo, Mike, what's up, man?
Guy? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, so Sugar Fire.
Yeah.
Fully open, right?
Yeah, we're pretty much open. You can't sit inside yet. Monday you can sit inside a little bit. We'll have 25% of the tables inside, and then we're letting it rip outside.
So I know that there's a lot of people really concerned about staying safe and all of that. So what are you guys doing in regards to that?
Well, we have extra people to clean and rub everything down all the time. Everybody inside's wearing masks. And we have those little stickers on the ground so everyone can stay 6 feet apart.
Right on.
The tables are all spaced out, inside and outside.
Sugar Fire, open in full effect right now. They're staying healthy, they're staying clean. Go get you a rack of ribs. Sugar Fire, open right now.
Thanks.
The Fur and Leather Center, providing the highest of fur and leather goods.
You're gonna perform
I'm sorry,
tonight.
I can't make this interview boring because this
No,
man
it's
is
not
too exciting as a host. And I'm truly saying this, and if y'all can't do this, me and this man here is gonna leave and go somewhere else where we can get some love. I want everyone in the building to say, I love Pascal on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
homeowners, and property managers. If you're looking for effective and humane ways to remove wild animals and deal with the damage that they have caused, we have good news for you. Introducing Wildlife Command Center, a professional nuisance wildlife management company specializing in providing animal removal for residential, industrial, and commercial clients. We are the only wildlife company that checks 70 different areas on a structure to determine the answers to the following questions. Exactly which animal are we dealing with? How is the animal getting inside the home? What kind of damage is the animal doing to the structure? Once we get the answers to all of these questions, we develop and write up an action plan to resolve the animal issue completely and provide a quote to implement that action plan. We perform a very in-depth 70-point wildlife inspection. From visually inspecting the highest point, the chimney, to physically crawling inside the attic space and looking for animals, chewed wires, fecal matter, chewed structural wood. We inspect everything. Our inspection process covers all of the following 70 points: animal-proof chimney cap, roof ridge vents, roof to soffit junctions, dormer fascia, attic gable vents, gutter lines, fascia trim, garage door, utility penetrations, water, gas, electric, and cable, bathroom vents, attic roof ridge vents, attic electrical, wiring, junctions, boxes, and lighting, concrete decks, additions, wooden crawl spaces, basement plumbing, penetrations, ceiling, floor, and wall. Wildlife Command Center's mission is to deliver the finest quality wildlife removal and pest control service that is safe for the environment. For more information, call us now.
Hey, welcome back, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation today. If this is your first time checking out this show, please go click that like button underneath this feed real quick, and also go crush that subscribe button. I do this show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, and I do an evening show Tuesday through Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. You will see me on live this evening, so be sure to come on and be a part of the conversation. Anyway, we got to jump on to this next part. You know, we could talk about this vaccine stuff till we're dead. I swear to God we could, or until we all get administered the vaccine. Which could be any day now. So we got to jump into this next story. Portland police were shown. There's a viral video going out here, which I will be showing here shortly, where Portland police were actually clashing with protesters while they were trying to evict a family from a home. Jack's got the story. Jack, what's a guan?
So authorities in Portland, Oregon, as you mentioned, clashed with protesters on Tuesday, where the protesters were outraged that several arrests had been made near a home where a family had been evicted in September. So in the recent days, groups of activists camped outside of a house called the Red House on Mississippi, which is located on North Mississippi Avenue. And the violence broke out between police and protesters in broad daylight. They threw rocks at officers, spraying fire extinguishers, and damaging police cars. And the owner of the property where the eviction took place issued a complaint that people were trespassing. The officer showed up on the location before dawn, arresting 7 people. And let's see, the website for the protest group, the house had belonged to the Kinney family since the 1950s. The Kinney family had paid off their home, but had to take out a new mortgage to pay defense lawyers after a family member was arrested in 2002. And then the house went into foreclosure and was sold to a developer in 2018 at auction. So activists said that their presence on the site is an effort to reclaim the property for the family and save it from foreclosure. So it wasn't like it was foreclosure from COVID or foreclosure from the pandemic in general. Mm-hmm. This was from them paying a defense lawyer 18 years ago. So it's kind of an interesting situation. But I guess because it had been taken over by a actual like developer, I imagine has been empty. So then that's why they had been taking up, that location. But there's a fence around the whole location and everything. But the police received 81 calls about the property. Complaints ranging from reports of fights, gunshots fired, burglary, thefts, vandalism, noise violations, trespassing, threats, were all among the claims. So, but then a brawl between law enforcement and activists happened, and police found one suspect at the property with a gun and took him into custody, and later discovered more firearms at the property. So I know that the mayor has said that to use all lawful force to be able to take everybody off the property, and this is kind of, I think it's an ongoing situation.
Yeah. Let's check out this footage because it is definitely an interesting one. And away we go. Wow. Wow. That's intense, man. That's pretty damn intense. Okay, just so I get this clear, just so I have it clear in my head, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that are probably watching and going, okay, what the heck? What the hell is going on here? Well, first off, before I say anything, before I ask the question, thank God. I mean, even in that video, there are no reports of anybody actually getting shot. No one actually got hurt. No one died. No one got killed. But the question I had for you, Jack, is the main reason why they were trying to evict the people out of that house. Why? Why?
Because there had been 81 complaints made for the group of activists that had taken up the house. So there was, probably 15, 20 people that are constantly at that location. And they're basically using that as a headquarter, in that area.
So it's not
for all the activists. So
squatters' rights don't apply. Don't apply to this particular situation. If people were actually living in it, using it as their private domicile, not just a place of meetings and a place of business. If they're actually so squatter rights don't even apply in this particular situation. I found that very interesting.
You get to squat for a certain amount of time, and that's not the situation. There's been complaints about people being on a vacant property that's owned by a developer. You can't go squat on a developer's property. You can squat on an individual's residential property if it's unoccupied, and then you can go there, and if you're living there and start receiving mail and all that type of stuff. But just because you break into a location and say, "Oh, I'm here now," doesn't make it yours.
Right.
A developer owns it, and is obviously they have fencing up around it and everything else. So it just But if there's people that are in Portland, they don't have a place to stay, and they're protesting everything, and they are going to there, and then a whole bunch of complaints that are happening. That's why, is because people are calling in complaints. Imagine being the neighbors.
Right.
Their property values, that whole area up there, as every other house, has their own decision to make about, is it safe to leave, or am I stuck in an area that I can't even leave out of now? If I do leave, is my house going to be taken over by protesters? Is it going to be, included in this surrounding neighborhood? So I don't know. It's just it's still very so much clashing that's going on up there. It's hopefully it can be resolved in one way or the other where no one gets hurt, like you said. That's really happening. Good thing that no one got shot. But when they're walking forward to the police like that, and that you saw that one cop car was backing up and it hit the other car. Someone could have been in between them. It doesn't take much when you have that much stuff going on for someone to get hurt. So But I got to bounce out.
Okay, man.
So, yeah.
David, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, well, I was gonna say something, Jack, but anyway.
Yeah, you gotta
yeah,
go.
I pretty much agree with him. But let me see, where was I gonna go then? So I am glad that it didn't end up in violence. I'm surprised that I'm actually surprised it kind of didn't. I would have thought when that woman in the pinkish robe walked up on them, that would have been something where they would have hit her or even shot at her because she got so close. So I'm very glad it didn't go that way.
Right.
Again, part of it is balanced out by the threat of retaliation if they cause violence themselves. So that's always one way of keeping police violence in check, is if they fear retaliation, even if it's not a intended. Like if even if it's not intended, if they just feel that threat. So that's definitely partly part of why it's so peaceful. I didn't realize that the place was taken over. Basically, it sounds like from what Jack said. I don't know what he was looking at exactly, but it sounds like they pretty much took that place over. It's like one of those protester groups that just like walk into places and claim it for their own. If that's the case, I can definitely see why locals want to get rid of them. If that's what it is, it seems like that is why they're there, because locals are complaining about it, not because someone else was complaining about it.
Right.
So they are, I suppose, causing problems for the local neighborhood. If it's such a large group, probably armed, I would be concerned living in that area that they took it over. So I can see that. I'm glad I thought that, I don't know. Normally I would say that I thought the protesters were in the right when I just thought it was somebody living there, that it was their house they were trying to evict.
Right.
That's a totally different thing from trying to evict a big group. So I'm not, it's different here. Evictions shouldn't really be happening during COVID, but at the same time, if people are invading like that and the police can't take care of it, someone else might end up taking care of it if they still have a problem with it and no one else is going to resolve it. That's one of the problems with preventing the police from taking care of minor legal problems, is that a lot of times, or for some people, they're not calling the police to take care of the problem. They're calling the police because if they take care of the problem, they're going to be in trouble. So, that removes that problem. And in this case, if that area continues to feel threatened by the occupation of the house, they might retaliate on the people themselves. And that's a danger that is very real, I think.
Yeah, I guess at the end of the day, at the end of this whole thing, I mean, it is a crappy situation because you never know. Let me throw this into the pot as well. What are the chances of these complaints coming from people who are not supporters of whatever group that those people are for? If they're Antifa, let's just say, if they're Antifa, if they're part of the Antifa movement, what if these multiple complaints are being said or being made by people who are just wanting to get them the hell out of that area because they have a problem of who they are and what they stand for? There's also that to put into consideration as well. Just full-on discrimination or full-on just trying to find a way of getting them out of there so that Antifa or BLM or whatever that they support is out of that neighborhood or off that particular street. And I think that's really sad, but the fact that they found a place that was an unoccupied house, I mean, that's crappy as well. But at the same time, this is Portland, I guess. Portland's been going through some stuff, So when it comes to this whole situation, I mean, to me, I'm like, all right, why don't you just go legally find a place to be able to do your do your gatherings or anything of that sort. And if there were multiple complaints coming about that particular home or that particular house, why wouldn't you have just calmed the area down in a way so that there isn't as much complaints or isn't as much eyeballs on that house, so that you wouldn't have to be forcibly removed from said place. I mean, I feel like I heard in that video they said that there were kids in there. Like, I literally think that there were people actually living in that building, living in that house, not just a place to sit down and get together and come up with plans or a rendezvous point. I really do think that there were people actually living in that place and using it as a home. But they were using it also to bring in and have these meetings and these little powwows before they go out and do whatever the hell they're going to do. And I feel like if it was, so I feel like I heard that in there. That's why they were getting so angry. There are children in there. There are children in there. But at the same time, though, I wish that they would just go find a place, legally and do your thing. Or I also say this too. If you're going to be in a situation like that, and you're in a home and all that, and you're squatting, and you start acting up, or you start causing a ruckus so much that you start getting multiple complaints, I mean, you're getting what you deserve, pretty much. Because there's another option. You could easily shut the hell up. You could easily make people go, hey guys, when we're here, we can't cause a ruckus. When we're here, we can't, start problems. Because we already have enough problems to begin with, and we're here for a common goal. We need this place so that we can have our meetings, our little powwows. This could be our safe haven, our rendezvous point. But if we start getting 80 plus complaints, hell yeah, the cops are going to show up and try to evict you. So why not, after the first time, go, hey y'all, okay guys, we've had a few complaints already. We need to shut the hell up. With all due respect, if we want to keep this place, we got to hide in plain sight. We can't keep being focused on us. You know what I mean? We can't have all this being directly all eyes on this house. Now everybody knows where we're at. Now everybody knows that we're squatting. Now everybody knows that this is an abandoned house that we're not legally supposed to be in. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of people out there that like being bad. They have no problem with chaos. They have no problem with being ridiculous. And I don't know the laundry list of complaints that were being sent to the police. You know what I mean? I don't know what the laundry list of things were, but I can only imagine what they were. You have to do some serious stuff for there to be multiple complaints, y'all. So you got people that are in that house that don't give a damn, that are causing chaos for the sake of chaos and loving it, relishing in the fact that they're trying to start anarchy, and they're causing all that stuff to happen. They're causing all these complaints to happen. So if whoever was the leader or who is running that house, whoever it is, if they really wanted to keep the place, if they really didn't have to, deal with this problem, this video that we just saw, they could have easily just said, everyone shut the hell up. We have to abide by certain rules while we're here. And I think and I don't think we'd be seeing a video like that. We wouldn't be hearing about this story. They would still have the place and they would have no problem. David, what's up?
Yeah, I'd agree. Just to go off of what you said, like, you don't shit where you eat because
facts
of this. This is exactly what happens when you do that.
I feel like it's like, oh, here's this clubhouse for us people, you know what I mean? And I'm sure there's all types of people that are going in there that are feeling, like I said, there are people that have been emboldened out here that are excited about causing a ruckus, that are excited about starting chaos. And they not only take that chaos out in the streets, but they bring it home with them. Or they're bringing it with them to this place, to this house, and causing a ruckus there. And then you're in I'm sure, a nice, quiet neighborhood, but you're too busy blasting music, acting a fool. I mean, I'm just thinking of any I don't know what they were doing. You know, I don't know what all these complaints are. But obviously it would have to be something that would be noise complaints, etc. You know, where you turned this abandoned house, into a clubhouse where anything goes. And instead of going down that route, they should have tried to be more law abiding so that they wouldn't be getting kicked out. I mean, that's what I think. And David said it perfectly too. You don't ish where you eat. You just don't. And if you have a good thing going, why not just stay? It's like keep your volume down. Shut the hell up. Shut the hell up and just do what you need to do. Be a law-abiding citizen by the crib, and then when you're out there causing a ruckus, do whatever the hell you want. You're out there, you're causing a ruckus. You know what I mean? You're protesting, you're demonstrating, whatever. But when you're there, you're being a law-abiding citizen. That's it. Piece of cake. Then this kind of stuff, the video that we saw, wouldn't be happening. Or it wouldn't be happening as soon. I'm sure things would get out there. People would figure it out. You know what I'm saying? But it's unfortunate that happened. It's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if you're squatting on a developer's property and they own it and they're going to do something with it, there's been multiple noise complaints, multiple complaints in general about yo ass and your whole group that's in there causing crazy stuff. Well, I mean, yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. Cops are going to show up and they're going to try to physically remove you from the house.
What I kind of expect to happen is if places like this continue to pop up and prevent the police from going in, where the police can't do anything, we'll probably start seeing the rich landowners hire personal guards or people to start forcing others to evict, and they're not going to be as nice as the police, and you're not going to have the police protection because the police are either not going to be able to get there or they're going to ignore you because they don't like you anymore, and that's another way it could go bad for people. You got to consider the reactions when you do something like this, because it's not going to just all play out in one day. There's going to be longer term reactions as well, and now there's a lot more people looking at trying to get them out of there, I imagine, than there was just yesterday.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a crazy video to see, because you see people who are, they're all getting together and they're pushing these cops away. They're pushing them back. You know what I mean? Which is amazing. Just to be completely honest, it's amazing. You expect to see something else. I was expecting to see some bloodshed. And I understand we only saw a minute, a few seconds of this altercation, or this standoff, if you will. But at the same time, I am very surprised that no one got killed. No one. It did not end in bloodshed, which is very surprising to me. But we got to jump into this next story. It's something I got to pull up, though. So if you give me a minute. This is a story that is pretty sad. It's a really unfortunate story. And I just want to pull this up so everybody can see it and hear it for themselves, because it's a true story about a gentleman just a few days ago was shot and killed because of a Subway sandwich. And this gentleman, Casey Goodson, is well, I'm just going to let you guys see it for yourselves. Here we go.
My grandson just got shot.
Relatives say 23-year-old Casey Goodson was holding Subway sandwiches, not a gun, when he was fatally shot by a sheriff's deputy Friday in Columbus, Ohio.
Say his name. Casey Goodson.
Over the weekend, mounting anger.
And he deserves better. His family deserves better, and they deserve justice.
Authorities say SWAT team members had just finished an unsuccessful search for a suspect when Goodson drove by waving a gun.
How convenient.
Authority for Goodson's family disputes that.
The family believes that was totally outside of his character.
Although Goodson was not the suspect the SWAT team was looking for, the deputy Jason Meade, a 17-year veteran, later confronted Goodson outside his home. Police say there was a verbal exchange and that the deputy shot and killed Goodson.
Prediction is that it was a justified shooting. However, this deputy will be investigated.
Police say a gun was recovered at the scene, but haven't said exactly where. Goodson's family says he had a concealed carry permit and are demanding answers. They say he was shot in front of his grandmother and young siblings after coming home from the dentist.
The family believes that Casey was an innocent man gunned down as he entered his own home.
Late today, the Columbus Police Department turned over the investigation to state officials. No comment yet from the deputies' union. He wasn't wearing a body camera, wasn't required to.
Of course not.
An autopsy is expected this week.
Yep. So, excuse me, Casey Goodson seemed like a normal, regular kid, regular dude, coming home from the dentist, getting his teeth cleaned, you know what I mean, getting that hookup. The cops were on the prowl looking for a man, an armed man. And like you just heard in that video, how convenient that they saw him driving by, waving a gun, okay, in his car. I want to point that out. It always seems to be this series of events where they're on the prowl. There's somebody out on the loose, armed and dangerous, that, oh, he fits the description. It always seems like, here's the description of this male, and then they suddenly go, oh yeah, there was a guy. He was waving a gun in his car whilst driving by. So next thing you know, Jason Meade, Officer Jason Meade, a 17-year veteran of the Franklin County Sheriff's Office, follows this young man, this 23-year-old man, Casey Goodson, all the way back to his home. Now, what's interesting is that there's some other pieces that you got to put into consideration here. One, Goodson is a Ohio concealed carry permit holder. So he had his own gun, but he legally owned his own gun. So the other thing is that according to the police, no other officers witnessed the shooting. No civilian eyewitnesses have been identified, and there is no body cam footage like you heard in that video. There's no body cam footage of the shooting. There is just words coming from Officer Meade saying that he saw a man in a car, 23-year-old Casey Goodson, in his car waving his gun. Goodson had put his keys into his door before he was shot and fell into the kitchen, where his 5-year-old brother and his 72-year-old grandmother saw him lying on the floor, lying on the ground with a Subway sandwich in his hands. I'm going to repeat that again. He fell inside his home in front of his 5-year-old brother and his 72-year-old grandmother. Fell lying on the ground holding a Subway sandwich. So I got to ask, I mean, because there's obviously more details. I'm sure Dave is looking at this story as well, too. What I want to know is how the hell does a Subway sandwich look like a gun? I just in the packaging. I'm saying in the packaging. I'm it's in that in the plastic wrapping. It's in that paper wrapping. Then it's put in a bag, most likely. He wasn't holding it.
A loaf of bread.
He wasn't holding it. You know what I'm saying? Let's say again.
Said a gun is not the same shape as a sandwich or loaf of bread.
Exactly. So it's not like he was holding it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like he was holding it like this, pointing it at the cop. He was holding a Subway sandwich. And he had keys in his hands.
It seems like
no. All I'm saying is, even hours after his death, the keys that were used to let himself in the house as he was shot and killed hung in the door. So, and it's just, like, and they're saying that this is just a reminder of like how close he was to safety. All he had, like, he literally was opening the door to his house. He was shot, killed, and he laid down on the ground with a Subway sandwich in his hand. So I don't know. Now I'm trying to find if there was an actual weapon that was retrieved during this shooting.
Well, okay, I got this.
It just doesn't make any sense to me.
There's some things here. Let me start this. Okay, it looks like the autopsy will be conducted this week, and it looks like they shot him 3 times in the back.
Yep.
And let's see what else.
I'm just seeing that right now too.
The officer Jason Mead is currently on duty still.
Of course he is.
Oh, sorry. He's not on duty.
Okay, I was going to say what.
Yeah, he's off duty awaiting an interview by the Columbus Division of Police Critical Incidents and Response Team, who are investigating the incident right now. So their own police agency, it seems, is investigating it. A friend of the family, Heather Johnson, said that Casey was 23 years old. He never had any type of crimes. He was good. He worked at the Gap. He loved his family. He just enjoyed being a big brother and enjoyed being with his family. And let's see. So it sounds like that, according to Tobin, who is a U.S. Marshal for the Southern District of Ohio, that this SWAT deputy went to confront the man about the gun waving that supposedly happened in the car. The man was already out of his vehicle and was told to drop his gun, a command heard by at least one witness, Tobin said. When the man with the gun did not drop his weapon, Tobin said, the deputy shot him. Is this right? This doesn't even sound right. But okay, anyway.
Wait. Tobin?
He was a U.S. Marshal that's, I guess, investigating it.
Okay.
Yeah. He's the one. He's just the one that did the press release. He wasn't physically involved in the incident.
Gotcha.
Okay. So, but he said that according to one witness, at least one witness, that's where he got the information that the man was already out of his vehicle and was told to drop the gun. According to Tobin, the guy that was given the report said that a handgun was recovered, didn't say from where, and that let's see, it is not. That's generally most of it. So it doesn't look like anyone. His family's not saying he had a gun, but the one unnamed witness that they have said he had a gun. So from right now, it just seems to be that one witness and the police officer were the only ones that witnessed exactly what happened. Like you said, there's no cam footage, and
it's all hearsay right now. It's all hearsay. And then also I want to point out, they said it is a unnamed witness that's saying that he had a gun. How do you know that? If you got a grandmother and a 5-year-old son or 5-year-old brother, sitting there, seeing him on the ground and he's holding a sandwich, shouldn't he have a gun in his hand? Wouldn't there be evidence of a gun being on the ground right next to him? If he's falling inside of the house? Inside, in the kitchen, laying on the ground with bullets in his back, shot in his back. Wouldn't they say, oh, yeah, he had a gun in his hand? There was a gun there.
Be right,
you know what I'm saying?
Be right under him or right by him. It wouldn't have gone anywhere.
Facts. Yeah. But you see what I'm saying? Like, they would have said something. They would have said something if he had the gun in his actual hand. Like, I understand conceal and carry. It might be under his shirt, that kind of thing. I get that. He's a legal gun owner. He legally owns that gun. But you can't tell me that if he's opening the, it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. If he's turning around to open up the door and then he gets shot in the back, it's not like he did any crazy sudden movement, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it just doesn't make sense to me.
I have a few more things that I found from a different source, but it looks like, excuse me. So Mr. Meade, who was the officer, seemingly confronted him outside of Goodson's vehicle in front of the man's home, contrary to what the family said. One witness, like I mentioned, heard the command to drop the gun. It doesn't. This one doesn't say they saw the gun. It just says they heard the command. So two different news sources are disagreeing on that. And it was the Independent and CNN, if anyone wants to know. But anyway, according to the family lawyer, Mr. Tobin's narrative leaves out key details that raise cause for extreme concern, and including the object that Goodson was actually holding, and exactly where the gun was, like you mentioned. And the lawyer goes on to say, at this point, witness testimony and physical evidence raise serious concerns about why Casey was even confronted, let alone why he was shot dead while entering his home. And several protests are planned by civil rights activists in the area. And but like you were saying, this does seem to be the case. It usually goes when there's always this questionable shooting that the cops alone the cops or someone reports seeing a person with a gun. They go and confront that person, and then that person gets shot, even though there isn't much evidence suggesting they were actually threatening anyone with a gun or that they were doing anything unusual. And generally, it looks like they're doing their normal daily behavior. So this does seem like one of the standard cases where I'm saying this without seeing the full evidence, obviously, but this does seem like one of the cases where the police were overzealous and shot someone for basically no reason. Barring, we don't have video, which is a huge problem. They should have had video on, so we don't have any hard physical evidence to look at. We just have the only two witnesses that were there. One of them was shot dead, and the other is the officer that's going to be defending himself. None of the other officers were there. For some reason, he didn't have any backup. He didn't have anyone else with the questioning. So, it's pretty suspect. But I guess, as always, I want to see the full evidence before I personally say exactly what happened. But from what we have, it just looks like the cop did something incredibly bad and wrong here.
I think that it was racial profiling at its best. And he obviously was like, oh, and this is the... I think this is the thing that every black man, every black person fears more than anything in the world is this one phrase. You match the description. That's it. You match the description, brother. Sir, you match the description of a man holding a gun. That's the one thing that you dread hearing, because it might be the last thing you hear. That may well be the last phrase that you hear. And that's what's so frustrating. Because it was a kid coming home, minding his own damn business. No record, no police record, no history of violence, no history of anything. Just a regular kid wanting to go back home from the dentist, for crying out loud. No history of violence. No history of violence. And suddenly you got somebody waving a gun in his car at cops?
I mean,
that doesn't make sense.
At the Gap as well, so he's he's a normal worker. He's not, you know what he does for a living and everything.
But what
seems like an outstanding person.
Exactly. So, but what I'm trying to point out here is that there's no sign. There's no sign of, there's no evidence of him being somebody who would do some sort of erratic behavior, driving by a cop and waving a gun at the cop in his car. It just doesn't make sense to me. And then suddenly, now he is no longer here because he had a Subway sandwich in his hand. I mean, of course, all this is alleged. This is all just hearsay. But at the same time, we don't have body cam footage. We don't have, all we're relying on is the word from Officer Meade. And that's it. Who followed the kid back home because he allegedly was waving a gun in the car, and he, I'm sure in his mind, the officer's mind, felt like the kid, quote unquote, matched the description. Like I said, that is the phrase that every black person in America fears to hear. Because as soon as you hear that, you're already guilty. You're already guilty just for matching the description. You instantly are the bad guy. Of course, as this story unfolds, I'm sure there's going to be more information that's going to be coming out. And I can't wait to hear the truth, because I would love to hear what really went down. But unless there's some security cameras somewhere, hanging somewhere, or if there's an actual eyewitness that actually steps out and actually says what really went down, I mean, we're only going to have to sit here and wait and see. But it is really tragic that seems like a good old kid, just a good kid, just doing his thing, coming back home to see Graham and his brother with a Subway sandwich. And now he's no longer with us. That's a damn shame. You know? There's another thing I wanted to show you guys. And I'm glad that we are having this conversation, because there's another part of the world where there was a gentleman, a motorist, gets stopped. This is man, this is messed up. I want all y'all to see this video. And I want you guys to see something in this video. It is how the cops are treating this particular driver. It's basically, it's a routine traffic stop, you know, like a traffic violation stop that takes a very interesting spin. And I just want you guys to see it for yourselves. Now, before I tell you guys or show you guys the video really quick, in Delaware County, Ohio, a 25-year-old man named Merrick Burr was stopped by officers, State Highway Patrol, for speeding allegedly with a loaded gun in his vehicle. In the body cam footage, you're going to see how this driver, how Merrick Burr, handles his situation. Now, the cops ask give him orders. Does he comply? Let's see if he does.
He said he's not going to shop the car, so. Okay. That's all right. Just keep an eye on it. Just get the right fit. Just stare at Put your hands on the steering wheel. No. What are you reaching for? Oh, whoa. Hey.
Did you hear that? I'm sorry. We're only 21 seconds in. I'm sorry. I want to roll that back one more time. I'm sorry. Oh, shoot. Shoot. Hold on, guys. That just went.
This holiday.
How cheerful. Hold on. Damn. Okay. Do that again. Sorry, guys.
Looks like we got these are highway police here, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Highway patrol.
Yes, highway patrol. Yes, sir. Okay, so just one more time, I want you guys to hear this.
Put your hands on the steering wheel. No.
Dude said no. Where do you think this story is going to go? Is he going to later on comply? B, is he going to get shot up? Or C, is he going to drive off? Let's check it out.
What are you reaching for?
Oh, whoa. Hey, get out of the car, man. You got a gun right there.
Whoa.
Get out of the car.
There's rights to this.
Get out.
There are rights to this.
Do you have a concealed
There are
carry?
rights to this. Whoa.
Get out.
Hold up right there.
It's open. My hands are up. My hands are up. No.
No, you gotta.
This is on body cam. You have a body cam, sir?
Put
Do you
your
have a body
hands
cam?
over your eyes.
Do you have a body cam?
Put your hand over
Do
your
you
eyes.
have a body cam, sir?
Put your hands over
Do you
your
have a
eyes.
body cam, sir? Yeah, you're gonna
I will send this dog on you.
I will shoot you if you do.
Don't fucking grab that gun.
You have rights.
Put your hand.
You have rights too. You have rights too.
Don't you
You
dare.
have rights. You have rights. You
Right.
cannot
Don't you
shoot me
dare.
here.
You
This is
need to be-
unconstitutional. You know that.
Right. You have a weapon. Okay.
Yes, I
Don't.
do. It is.
Don't.
What I need you to do.
Hey, you
Oh,
can't
listen.
be grabbing me on this. Is also unconstitutional. Body cam request.
Can you quit yelling so I can talk to you?
You have a gun for me, sir.
Units right now.
I need you to relax for me,
I
okay?
will shoot you if this is possible. That's a threat, and so open that. You have no body cam. You know this.
He has a
My
body
hands are open.
camera.
My hands are open. My hands are open.
You need to get out of the
No,
car
I
so
do
we
not.
can remove you
I
from
do
that
not.
weapon.
You cannot. No, it is constitutionally owned. I see that.
Do you have a concealed carry permit?
It is not concealed. Yes, you can see the weapon. It's right there.
Don't
body
do
cam.
it.
Body cam. What are you afraid of?
Don't do it.
I'm not doing anything.
Do me a favor. Just please step out of the car. That's all we're asking you to do.
Oh, you're asking me not to gunpoint.
Yes.
Conceal your weapons, please.
No.
This is how we
Get out
treat
of
each
the
other
car.
civilly.
Please.
This is not how we act civilly. You know
Sir.
this. Right eye. Right eye.
You got cover?
No. Just
Yes, we do.
don't. Just
Do
please.
you have body count?
Please.
Do you have body? Do not forcibly remove.
Do not.
me from-
Don't.
No, whoa,
Do it.
You know
Don't.
that. You know that. It's not.
Please.
I need you to get out of the car.
Then out.
Hey, that's the double blue, sir. Are you gonna shoot me on double blue?
Just relax.
No,
Please
just relax.
Hey,
There's
please
rights
get out of the
to
car.
this. There's rights to this. You know there are rights to this.
Listen, we can figure this out.
We can talk about this, okay?
Oh, that's how
But
you
right
feel
now,
about this.
we can't
Listen.
talk about it with you not listening to us.
Just-
Well, not listen. You
Okay.
are first of the driver.
All
sir.
I'm asking you to do.
You're violating my rights right now. Let go of me.
You just put your hand on a gun,
Sir.
Whoa! No, you pulled a gun on me unconstitutionally.
Please.
And I did my interest.
We don't want
Please.
to do this, man.
Just
okay?
get out of the car. I'm just asking. We'll get this figured out. Just come out. Just get out of the
You
car.
release me now.
We can't do that.
Release it. I have Second Amendment rights, David.
Okay. Just get out of the car. Come on. Come back here. We'll
Excuse
talk
me?
about it.
Excuse me. This right here is a reason
We'll
to
get
defend
it-
myself, cast a doctrine. You know that.
We'll get this figured out. Don't do it. Please. Just come on.
Get out of the car, sir.
Just get out of the car.
Get
Just step
out.
out.
The gun's down.
No, just step
Get
out.
out of the car.
Just step out of the car. Don't do it.
Closes the door.
You're on double blue. You know what's gonna happen, right?
Just stop.
You need to get out of the car. That's
No,
a
I
lawful
don't.
order. You're going to go to
What
jail.
a gunpoint. Oh, take me to jail then. Go ahead.
Just
Right
come
now
on.
you're obstructing.
I can't.
No, you're obstructing. You're pointing a gun at me, sir. Right now, my life's in threat.
Okay. Well, we have.
I don't even see body cam on this, sir. I'm just gonna drive away. I'm not gonna bother anybody.
No, you're
Hands
not.
on the seat.
Don't do this.
Don't.
Don't do it.
Mhm.
Don't.
There's the quiet middle class for you.
I want to point something out here. We just 2 seconds ago talked about a man in Columbus getting shot and killed for allegedly holding a Subway sandwich. Now we're talking about this. I'm pointing this out for a very specific reason. There's a white man in his car not complying at all, whatsoever. And he is still alive today to tell the tale. He is still alive today to defend himself in court. We will never hear anything from Casey Goodson at all. We will never hear his side of the story at all. We are only hearing from one cop who was not wearing a body cam. Nothing but hearsay. Then you turn the page. And it's a routine traffic stop. As they are literally giving him, doing their thing, the cops are doing their thing. They find a gun in his possession. It is on his lap. Now, wouldn't it be kind of dope? Because you see how like the cops are going, please, just comply. Please, sir, please just comply, please, please, please. Isn't it funny? Wouldn't it have been dope? Wouldn't it be dope if cops were doing that to the black men and women that have been shot and killed so far? If those black men and women were not complying in those times, if only they were going, come on, please, sir, please, just put the gun down, or please just get down, or whatever. Now, I understand not all circumstances are the same. I understand that. So I'm not trying to sit here and knock police. But notice that these two police officers are begging this man, begging him to comply. He refuses the entire freaking time. He refuses to get out of the car. He refuses to do anything. He is literally sitting there going, I got my constitutional rights and blah, blah, blah. Unhand me, sir. Don't put your hands on me. Stop grabbing me. All this stuff. I guarantee you if that guy was black, he would be dead right now. We'd be seeing a shooting. We'd be witnessing the killing of somebody. And yet people sit here and keep saying that this is not, that police brutality doesn't exist, or that privilege doesn't exist. Now, let me throw this in here. This is a possibility. There's a possibility that this Merrick Burr gentleman, the driver, there's a good possibility that he just happened to get pulled over by two of the nicest cops in the world. You know what I'm saying? That could be it too. He could have just had the luck of the draw. But this is ridiculous. Homeboy would have been shot up multiple times. Then on top of that, that's why I just shut up. That's why I didn't say anything. I just let you guys watch the video. Because the end part is just insane. The fact that the cop let him go, he closes his door, and then he goes, put my hands on the steering wheel, and I'm driving off. And he did exactly that. No shots were fired. None, zero, nada, zippity doo-dah. They didn't tase him. They didn't take him down by using force. Merrick Burr is lucky because he gets to wake up the next day and tell his story. Rest his head on a prison pillow and talk to a lawyer to defend him in his honor. But I can't sit here and say that about all the other men and women that have been shot and killed during a routine traffic stop. David, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, let's see. I agree that, yeah, but let me think of somewhere to start here. Okay.
There's a lot there's a lot to digest in that video.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So obviously that guy was pretty dumb. Shouldn't have done any of the things he did. He definitely felt, he seemed like he felt safe and secure. It's not surprising, he looked, he's white, middle. He is in a nice car at very least. He's got everything that, I guess, generally the demographic that police won't shoot for the most part. And honestly, I think a lot of people, cops or otherwise, would have considered shooting him right when he went for that other gun while they were holding his arm. So I'm kind of surprised they didn't. And I do agree that if the driver was black, can't say for these cops specifically, but the chances of him being shot in general would have been much, much higher. He would have it would have most likely ended in a violent they would have shot him. I mean, basically, and
real quick, instantly. Sorry, I hold your thought. I don't want you to lose your spot, but think about it. As soon as they saw the gun on his lap, they reacted quickly, but they didn't bother to pull any triggers. They didn't squeeze a trigger on anything. All they said was get out of the car. There are stories out there, there are videos out there of black men with guns on their laps, and they get lit the hell up. Lit up. And this man is they're just still going, please, sir, just get out of the car. I'm sorry. Just continue. This stuff burns my cookies, man. This just really, Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, I mean, all right, to compare the two, definitely, the first guy, I already forget everyone's names, but the black gentleman was
Casey.
Pretty much, Casey. He was shot in the back and didn't seem to, you can't really be that threatening when you have a sandwich in one hand, keys in the other hand, and you're opening the door.
Yeah.
And compared to this, which is completely different. Now, the thing is, like, I do agree. I'm not saying that a black person isn't more likely to get shot, because they definitely are. Just even looking at the numbers, that's just how it runs out. You can't argue with numbers, really. But I think highway police in general do seem to be, usually when you see situations like this where someone drives off and doesn't get shot, it is the highway police or highway patrol instead of city police. So it seems like they do have maybe either better training or they're more chill with people. I'm still surprised. I'm actually kind of surprised that they didn't shoot him. But I'm not sure what happened after that either. I expect they definitely went after him. But yeah, that's not how you respond. He wasn't even right entirely. He was in Ohio, so he had his gun in the wrong place. You're not allowed to have it there. You have to have it in a glove box. I lived there, and I had a concealed carry permit there, and I know how you need to drive around with them. So he was wrong about that. So his whole argument was wrong, and yeah, it's just a weird situation. I'm glad. Now, I do want to say that I'm very happy. I do like the way the Highway Patrol handled that. I think they were more conservative than I would have even expected from someone in a fair situation. Like, they were much kinder, and I think that's how police should respond to people, the way they handled them. Other than maybe letting them drive off like that. But other than that, they were doing a good job, I think. They should have pulled him out. But because it does strike me very similarly. But once, like, he drives off, they should have let him go, because it reminds me of the situation where the officers shot into the car with 4 black children. I think they were all children. There might have been one adult, but they were, trying to drive away from the police, and they all got shot. But they all got shot at. Several of them were murdered. And in a situation like that, you're supposed to let the car leave, like they kind of did here. You're supposed to let the car leave. Like, once the car start moving, you don't try to pull them out, because that's how you get dragged and killed. So they did that part right. I think they should have pulled him out earlier. But it strikes me, I just wanted to point back to that other case, because that's how wrong they did it. They should have let those kids drive off the same way they let this armed guy drive off once he started hitting the gas, because it's no longer safe to engage him directly. And you don't need to shoot them, because they can be gathered up later, like they let this guy do, I assume.
Isn't that funny?
So, yeah.
Isn't that funny? They let him drive off. And that's the other part. They would have ran after that car shooting. They would have just been just lighting up that car as soon as he started to drive off. If it was a different race. If it was a different situation. It's so frustrating to me, because I see more and more videos like this all the time, where they'll see, they'll show a white guy who is not willing to comply, and they'll show the cop do everything in his power except for shooting him. They'll use every other means of force to get that to get that white guy to actually comply. They'll do everything they can, aside from pulling out the gun and shooting him. And then they'll use the gun when they really have to. But every time you see these videos all the time, like I remember this like it was yesterday. There was another video where it was just a person shooting from their car, like shooting video from their car, showing a man in his big old pickup truck, and a cop had his gun drawn, and the guy was talking, like just cursing at the police officer, and he walks back into his car and gets in his car and tries to drive off. The situation was on the other foot. And if that was a black man, that black man would have been lit up, shot dead before he even was able to put the keys in his ignition. So that's why I wanted to make sure that I showed you and talked about Casey Goodman's case, the Casey Goodman shooting that just happened, and then show you this video. Because it is very much, you look at both situations and you go, how did Casey get killed? And then you look at this other side and go, how did they not shoot this man, Merrick Burr? They had multiple opportunities to do so. They gave him many chances, and he did not comply, not once.
I mean, I'm not a cop, and I wouldn't be. But if I was, I would have had that guy out of his car on his face on the ground and pretty quickly.
I couldn't agree more. It would have been the same thing, too, in my personal opinion. Here's the other thing. Because I showed this, oh, my God, this was like at least 4 to 6 months ago. This is all coming back from just memory. But I showed another video where it was a routine traffic stop. The guy had expired plates. They were asking him to get out of the car so that they could, obviously, I don't know what he did. I forgot what he did exactly. But they were trying to arrest him. He was refusing to get out of the car. They kept asking him politely. They pointed tasers at him, not guns. They finally wrestle him out of the car. He pulls out a gun. He pulls a gun out of one of the officers' holsters. Shoots and kills one of the officers. He shoots both of them, but he kills the sheriff. Jumps in his car, if I remember correctly, jumps in his car and drives off. There's another human being that was refusing to comply, and the cops were handling him with kid gloves. What's so frustrating is that you see more and more viral videos of both sides, different things. You see viral videos of cops treating white people with kid gloves, and then you see viral videos of black people getting lit up. Just getting lit up. Shoot. For holding what? A sandwich? A screwdriver? And yet people out here sit here and say that white privilege does not exist. It's a myth. It's a fairy tale. No, it's very real. It's very much a real thing. And it very much exists. I wish that there were cops out here that were like these guys that were treating this Merrick Burr, that were able to treat, George Floyd situation a little bit differently. Shoot, the Casey Goodson situation. You know what I'm saying? The AJ Mitchell situation. You know what I'm saying? There's so many stories out here. So many. We've talked about them countless times on this show. And it still doesn't change. And yet people are still out here thinking that that this kind of stuff isn't real. This is the reason why I wanted to bring it up. This is the reason why I brought this out. This is the reason why I put it out here for everybody so that everyone can see this. And I'm not trying to sit here and say that all cops are bad. I'm not. I will never say that. There's a lot of great cops out there. There's a lot of dudes out here that put their lives on the line. They all put their lives on the line. But you can't tell me that there are cops out there that treat certain races a certain way. If Merrick Burr was black, that man would be dead by now. Instantly, as soon as they saw the gun on his lap, they would have lit that dude's ass up, unfortunately. It's all I could say is most definitely there needs to be a new approach to things. And they had every reason. There were so many reasons in that particular situation where they could have used excessive force. Not deadly force, but they could have forced him out of the car. They could have most definitely forced him out of the car. But they didn't. And that's sad. But anyway, guys, it is that time, guys. It is time to wrap up the show. David, thank you so much for being on, my brother. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, man, my pleasure.
And to Jack for being on. I will be on tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, so be on the lookout for that. I'm sure we're going to be talking about a whole mess of things. There is something that that I wanted to talk about this evening or today, but I didn't get a chance to talk about it. I might try to do it as a pop-up video here in a little bit. So be on the lookout for all that. There's a lot to talk about as of late. There's a lot of things I've missed recently. Yes, I of course I got to get going. I see somebody on Periscope asking a very good question, actually. Coindexter just said, why and how can one comply to bigotry? That's a very heavy question that I wish I had time to talk about right now. But unfortunately, we got to wrap it up for now. Be on the lookout for the show tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Okay. For all y'all who are watching on Periscope, Twitch, Facebook, and on YouTube, please, be sure to tune in tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to be doing some open discussions, talking about a few things, and I'm sure there's some more new breaking news that has been happening as this show is going on and as the day goes on. But anyway, I got to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another, and I'll see you guys tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.
Love, peace, and wellness for the holidays. Don't cancel them. Prepare, STL. Decorate. Make it as normal as you can, but slow the spread of COVID. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. Watch your distance. Prepare, STL, helping St. Louisans of color prepare and prevail.
But you see how he makes these S's in his body right here? That's where he's hanging on, and then he's moving forward with the locomotion of his ribs. That is classic Missouri rat snake right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab him before he gets into a hole. Now, these snakes are not biters. They won't bite as long as you don't squeeze them. If you just stop them like this, it'll freeze them, and then you just gently pull them back. As long as you don't squeeze them, they won't bite.
Yo, Mike, what's up, man?
Guy? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, so Sugar Fire.
Yeah.
Fully open, right?
Yeah, we're pretty much open. So you can't sit inside yet. Monday you can sit inside a little bit. We'll have 25% of the tables inside, and then we're letting it rip outside.
So I know that there's a lot of people really concerned about staying safe and all that.
No,
so what are you guys doing in regards to that?
Well, we have extra people to clean and rub everything down all the time. Everybody inside's wearing masks. And we have little stickers on the ground so everyone can stay 6 feet apart.
Right on.
The tables are all spaced out, inside and outside.
Sugar Fire, open in full effect right now. They're staying healthy, they're staying clean. Go get you a rack of ribs. Sugar Fire, open right now.
Thanks.
The Fur and Leather Center, providing the highest of fur and leather goods.